Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. How are you all? Good
Good.
thumbs up.
I'm excited.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, we've got people joining. I know there's a lot of people who were not in the proper time zone to join us live, but they will be here for the recording. So if you don't have your video on, which is just fine, or even if you do have your video on, why don't you pop in the chat on where you are joining from? I am in Annapolis, Maryland, in the US on the East Coast. So it is 10 a.m. my time. Where's everyone else coming from? Portland, a little early in the morning. Hey, Jen. Charleston, we got some East Coasters. West Virginia. I like
Charleston,
Charleston, South.
South Carolina.
Oh, Charleston, South Carolina, and Charleston, West Virginia?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I've never been to Charleston, West Virginia, but I love Charleston, South Carolina. New York. All right. Well, I brought a whole bunch of things to show and tell in case other people didn't. But we're just going to hang out for a couple of minutes before we get started. It's going to be pretty informal. Someone's joining us from Houston. Might need to leave in a half an hour. Good. So we can get your questions in, or if you have anything to show and tell, we will have you go early on. Yeah. Super excited to have everyone here. Has anyone come to our previous Zoom? Nope, I've got some no's. Awesome. Well, we do, or I do, or sometimes other members of the team do Zooms every now and then on different topics, either teaching you something about traveling to Antarctica, general Q&A, something about getting ready for your trip. So do keep your eye out for those. There's at least once a month. I actually just did one like 4 days ago about the different itineraries and what you'd see on the different itineraries for those people who haven't already booked. Of those who are here, are you already booked to go? I know Jen is. I've got another thumbs up, another hands up, a bunch of nodding, bunch of people who aren't on screen. Yes, I've got a yes. All right. Is there anyone who is not booked yet and is just here to to gather info? All right, we've got a lot of people booked. Lindblad, yep, January 2024. Awesome. So this is a perfect time to do something like this because at least in the US, there are a lot of sales coming up this week and next week. And so it's a great time to purchase gear if you need it. But a lot of times you have what you need in your stash already. Okay, Jamie says, I'm not booked, but we're looking to go in November of next year. Good planning ahead. And Judy is with G. Excellent, excellent. All right, so I'm going to get started. For those of you who might not be familiar with me, my name is Lori Gross, and I am the founder of the Antarctic Experience. The Bucket List to Booked group is a sister group of the main group Antarctic Experience. If you aren't actually in both groups, I highly recommend that you get in both because they're very different. The Bucket List to Booked group is 100% laser focused on travel help. I partner in that group with members from Polar Tract Expeditions. They are our partner travel agency. They are also expedition guides, just like me. So for Jamie, who is not booked yet, we offer one-on-one help to help you find and pick the right expedition for you. And in the Antarctic Experience, that is the group where we share education, news, events, and then personal stories, photos, videos of your experience. So once you travel, we want you to put all your experiences and stories in the Antarctic Experience, but definitely come back into the Bucket List group and give any tips or tricks or anything that you wish you had known before you went or anything like that. That will help us. So if you have any confusion about what goes in which group, let me know. But one of the reasons that I founded the Antarctic Experience was because I believe that souvenirs. Experiences are the best souvenirs. And that's kind of where helping people to travel came about. I've been in the expedition guiding for 20 years and in Antarctica since 2006. And the rest of the team, we've got, collaboratively like 100 something years of experience. Anyway, but without further ado, does anyone want to start with something that they want to share, a piece of gear, or do you guys want me to start? Yeah, someone's pointing me. Me. Okay. I actually I'm sitting on my bed. Usually I'm in my office, but I brought out a bunch of things. I didn't take all my gear out, but I brought up some things that I thought that people might want to know about. But online, a couple people and through email, a couple people sent some questions about sunglasses and gloves. So I'm going to talk about both of those things first. These are my sunglasses. I actually have a couple different pairs. These are actually pretty lightweight, and they float. They're from the brand Gill. You're going to see I have a lot of stuff from that brand. It's a sailing company. I really love them. But the important thing is they're polarized. These wrap a little bit around. It's nice if they can wrap, but polarized is key. The sun is incredibly strong down there, even on cloudy days. There is the ozone hole. So I brought a little travel one, you want awesome sunscreen. And that goes along with the sunglasses. So you always, always, always want sunscreen on your face. Absolutely every single time you go out. It seems counterintuitive because you're in Antarctica and you think, but that sun is really strong down there. SPF on the sunscreen, this is 100. I mean, I use this brand La Roche-Posay. Oops, I really like their stuff, but just a high factor something. And because of the wind and the wetness, I try to reapply or get something like a zinc. This stays on really well, but something with like zinc in it also stays on really well. My nose, I don't know if they're still there. I just actually had some like little skin cancer zapped off. So be very careful. So any polarized sunglasses will work. And the reason for polarized is because of that reflection on the water. If you don't have polarized, you don't have to go out and buy them. But if you have polarized glasses or you were planning on buying sunglasses, polarized is good. And you don't have to spend a ton of money. I have another pair of sunglasses that I got last year. I think I spent like $60 on these and like 80 on the others. And that's on the high end for me. I used to buy the like $200, $300 pairs. And now I find you can get really good quality for under $100. Any questions on that? Sunglasses brands I recommend. This is by a sailing brand called Gill. And let me grab my other ones. That's a different brand. These are, who makes these? SunCloud. These are easy to find in a lot of like ski shops. SunCloud. I like them. I don't like them too heavy. Croquis for keeping sunglasses on. Yeah, it is nice to have something, if you're going to take them on and off so that you don't have to worry about them. I tend to put them on my hat because they tend to stay. But yeah, because if they don't float, these Gill ones float. You don't want to take any risk of losing them. So yeah, croquis are a good idea. You'll just have a lot of stuff on. So just make sure you don't tangle yourself up in them. Will these glasses fit over prescription glasses? They don't. I actually wear contacts when I'm in Antarctica on the water because I don't have a pair of prescription sunglasses. So I wear contacts and then I have my glasses on top of them. I also do bring a pair of ski goggles, but that's not something that's a must-have. If you have a pair, you can bring them if it's particularly snowy and blowy. But for me, I need them as a guide because I have to drive and I have to look forward as everything's coming towards me if the weather's bad. And for you as a passenger, you can sort of like hunker down. You don't have to be like looking into the mess like I do. So I always have a pair of ski goggles, but that's also a popular question. More questions about eyewear or sunscreen? Okay, if you do, just pop it in the comments or shout it out. The other question, big question is gloves. How many people feel like they got their gloves sorted? Oh, good, 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 good. How many people are still like, how many pairs of gloves do I bring? Okay. I'm a terrible one to talk to about how many pairs of gloves to bring because I bring a ton of gloves, but a lot of that is because I keep extras in my backpack for people who may need them. So in the group, if you scroll down, I do have a video of me unpacking what I carry in my bag as an expedition guide. And I was laughing as I was going through it because it felt like I was just like pulling out another pair of gloves like every 5 seconds. But here's what I would recommend. You want at least 2 of everything because if one gets wet, you need a spare so the other one can dry. So these, I picked these out of my stash because they were the most colorful ones. These are just ski gloves that are lined with fleece and they're waterproof. So like a Gore-Tex or something like that. And oftentimes the ski gloves, this pair doesn't have them, might have a zipper that you can put a hand warmer in or something like that. These are good, nice, warm. If you put your hands in there while they're dry and you don't take them in and out, you're going to be really not good with a pair of ski gloves. Now, this is hard if you want to be using your hands a lot for cameras or something like that. So I would recommend, mine fit me really well. So I don't really have a lot of room for a liner underneath. But if you do have room for a liner, there's lots of really good ones. I prefer these thin wool ones. These are from Smartwool, but you can get a lot of different ones. I love wool, you're going to see, because when it gets wet, it's still warm. Some people are allergic to wool. So, there are other materials that are just as warm, but I find that thin wool keeps me really warm. Now, if you're going to wear like the double, these aren't on there anymore, but I recommend leaving those little straps like that come on some of the gloves so that you can just slide them off and let them hang from you so that you don't have to fuss with them or drop them on the ground or stuff them in a pocket. You can just let them hang and then stick them back on. And if you don't have a liner, you can always slip your hand out to take pictures and slide your hand back in. The only thing is when your hand gets a little damp, it gets a little hard to get in and out. But it's really helpful to hang your gloves off of you. And if you don't have those already built into your glove, they sell little clips that you can like clip onto your jacket or you can fashion them out of string. You don't have to do anything like super duper fancy for that. Now for gloves, you don't have to spend a lot of money. My favorite gloves for driving. So one of my issues with gloves is because I'm an expedition guide. I need warmth, but I need to be able to grab lines, and so I have a little bit different needs than you guys will. But a really good, say, second pair of gloves for you. These are Japanese fishing gloves that are lined in fleece. They are like $25, something like that. They have, let me put this one on. They have this sort of tie here, so you can really cinch them down if you need to. For me, they're nice and warm and they're super duper they're waterproof. They're completely waterproof because they're rubber. Now they don't breathe like a ski glove will, but it's okay. It's fine. It works just great. And there was another brand that someone posted in the group that's very similar. They're like fishermen, like freezer glove, people who work in freezers. There you go. Why don't you turn off? Tell me who makes those.
These are called Toolant, and one of the moderators on your group said she uses them.
Yeah, Lauren uses them.
Yes, and they are fleece lined. And I ordered 2 pair because I wasn't sure which size, because
Okay.
on Amazon you can return things so easy. And I decided to keep both. I kept 1 pair to wear just as is, and another pair a little bigger to wear with my polar fleece gloves inside.
Okay. And what sizes did you get?
So I got a medium for every day and a large for a liner inside.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good to know.
They're
Like
nice and light.
sizing wise. Yeah, so I actually don't have a pair of those yet, but I'm curious about them. So I'm probably gonna buy myself a pair of them.
My only concern compared to what you just showed is they don't come very far up your wrist.
That's
But
that's okay.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not that necessary because you've got your parka and everything else. And sometimes this gets actually in the way. So I have a couple pairs of the ski gloves, and I have one that comes up pretty high, and I actually don't like it as much as the ones that are a little lower. So mostly because I can't get them on and off very easily. These I do like it because a lot of times once I put them on,
I'm not sure that's any better.
they're on.
Everybody else.
Oh, is someone saying something?
Yeah.
I was going to say, Terry, can you show those again, please? I just want to take a picture.
they come in a couple different colors, and they're TOOLANT.
All right, someone else is holding up gloves. Sharon, what do we have there? I'm going to unmute you. Oh, you're muted. You got to unmute yourself.
These are Unigear of Amazon, and I held my hand under water for 10 minutes and they stayed bone dry.
Awesome. Are they lined?
They are lined, yes, they are lined.
And
Lovely
what was
fleece
the brand
inside.
again?
Unigear.
Unigear. Okay.
Yeah, Unigear, and they clip together.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. I've not heard of
they're
that brand.
fine. As I say, I ran them under a tap and my hand stayed bone dry.
Excellent. 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 So yeah, that's great. And even if they are fully waterproof, it is great to have that second pair, because if you take them on and off and they get a little wet inside or something, you will want that. And then I also bring I didn't pull out a pair, but I also bring kind of mid-weight gloves for around the ship that have and make sure that I can use my phone with them. They have a little thing on the fingers so you can open up your phone. And I usually bring like the kind of windproof and fleecy inside. And those are, they're kind of in between. Some days you just want in between. You're not getting wet, so you don't need the big ski gloves, or it's not super cold. It's a little too cold for the liners. So it's kind of an in between. And I like those for around the ship when you're running out on deck. And I kind of keep a pair of those in my parka pockets all the time. So if I'm just grabbing my jacket, I always have a pair of, gloves in there that I can work a camera with, but yet keep my hands warm. Somebody asked online about dish gloves, and I actually have a pair, but I don't really like them. I have to say, a lot of guides use them. They'll put them over another glove, but now with these fishing type gloves that are fleece lined, this brand and the Toolant brand, I think that's a better purchase than dish gloves. Now, if you don't want to buy something and you have dish gloves laying around, just make sure they'll fit over like another warmer pair, because they don't provide any insulation. It's simply waterproof. So yeah, but if it's something you just want as a backup, it's great. And you have them at home and they fit over something, just bring them, but you'll have to wear something underneath them. All right, hats. The question is various weights for different conditions, like one of the zodiacs and one. I think I have all my hats are kind of the same weight. The wind chill can be pretty biting, especially on the ship. If you're going outside to look at wildlife, you're on a ship that's moving, so you factor in that wind. So even if it's sunny outside, that wind coming off the water and the ice is going to be cold. So I get really cold. So for me, a hat is super important. I like wool, again, wool hats with if they have some fleece lining, and I like the ones that come over my ears because my ears get cold, and usually my head is really small. I have to buy kids hats. So most of my hats have like pom-poms on them or other things like that. But it's nice also to be able to tie it. I have one or two hats that don't go over my ears, and I find I wear them sometimes, but I always am grabbing for the hats. I bring a lot of hats, but that's me because, again, it's sort of fun being a guide and switching out your hats. And I have like a penguin hat and a panda hat, and I have like fun hats. But again, I basically wear two hats all the time. I mean, one I'm wearing, one's drying, then I'm wearing, and then drying. If you have a thinner hat that's warm, you can, again, for the ship, you can shove it in your pocket so you always have it. It's better to have something with you than nothing at all. So I do have a hat that doesn't have the ear flaps but is fleece lined, and again, I throw that in my pocket, so in case I just have my parka and I haven't grabbed one of my heavier hats, I have something. So I should say, three hats. But that's overpacking. I'm an overpacker. I'm just going to say that. It's like Overpackers Anonymous. All these people who, I'm just bringing a carry-on. I'm like, who are you? Also, if you unpack right when you get home, I'm the total opposite. I'd like to get some of that from you guys, because it takes me like a month to unpack. Oh, confession time. All right. What about a hat versus a balaclava versus a fleece gaiter? Do we need all three? Great question. Or which one is best? I wear the same thing every single day. And I do have a video of me getting dressed, so I might post that. It's a little long, might be boring to some people, but here's what I wear. I might have to take my glasses off for this. Here's my system. So I wear a thin, stretchy neck gaiter that I happen to make. So if you want to buy one, you can, but this is not a sales pitch. So this one has penguins on it. So I put this on first. Now I can't see any of you because I don't have my glasses on. And these are nice and stretchy, so you can even keep them over your ears if you want, bring it up over your nose. So let's pretend you want to use it like a balaclava. You absolutely can. So I put that on. A lot of times then I'll put the order depends, but I'll put my hat on. So this is tucked up into my hat. And I always have a thicker fleece. Throw that over top, and then I pull out this underneath. So even if this comes down off my head, which sometimes I don't wear it like that, and I just pulled this out, but I like it under because my little ties there sometimes. And it's nice because if these are underneath, I can pull, if I need to pull the gaiter up over my ears, it's a little easier. So this goes up, or just, well, see, I've got it all messed up now, or this goes up. So if I don't have these little ties tucked, see, it's a little wacky when I pull it up, but you might not have ties on your hat. So that's how I do it. I do a double gaiter and the hat. And because I can use this bottom one over my head as a balaclava, just pull this one up if I need, pull them both up if I want. And so that's the system that, oh, it's getting warm, that I like the best.
Yeah.
And again, I have 2 of everything. Earmuffs. I don't recommend earmuffs, to be honest, because it just keeps your ears warm, but not your head. And you don't want to have too many things going on. You know, if I do have a hat, I should have grabbed my hat with the flaps without this string. You know, as you can see, it's really easy to get tangled up in things, and you're going to have your parka on and your life jacket. And so the more things you have, you know, the more like tangled you can get. So I would say no earmuffs. I would say just a nice hat with ear flaps that come down, or just a nice fleece neck gaiter or something that you can pull over your ears to make sure
Lori,
your ears stay warm.
where'd
Yes,
you get that nice penguin one?
I make it. So you can buy it from my website. Oh, there's another.
okay.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I make 3 kinds. Here, I'll show you all of them. I have the penguin one. I have another one that has all these different words that you will
Okay.
things you'll see in Antarctica. And then this one is still wrapped up, but it's a picture of a well, I'll unwrap it. It's a picture I took of a humpback whale reaching. So when this one's on, you don't see the picture as much. It's just more of the blue because it's scrunched up. But yeah, if you want to purchase those, I do sell them, but this wasn't a sales pitch. It's just, these are the neck gaiters I wear. So
Are you doing any expeditions this year?
yes, I am. I will be heading down right after Christmas until the end of February. All right. Does that answer your question, Jen?
It does perfectly. Thanks, Laura.
You're welcome. Oh, that's a little warm. Where'd you get that cool penguin? And is it fleece?
That one.
Oh, where'd you get that?
So I made this,
Nice.
and it's Vera Bradley makes a like a scarf, a long fleece scarf.
Okay.
So I cut up a Vera Bradley scarf
How genius.
and made it into the, what do you call these things?
A neck gaiter.
A neck gaiter. Yeah.
Does it fit you tight?
Yeah, here I'll show you. Yeah, it's tight. So
Good.
I made like a, and then you basically make it, and then there's just a little seam to turn it inside out that you really can't see on the inside. So if you sew,
Yeah,
but
I
here I'll
don't.
show you. I can take my glasses
Yeah,
off.
I
It's
know.
tight.
Same as me.
That's very cool.
Oh, that's great.
So like
Yes.
that,
And then you
like
can
that,
pull it. Yeah.
that.
Awesome. Yeah. You're going to be perfect. And the envy of everyone else. That is the
Well,
cool
I
thing.
made my family of 4. We're all going, so I made 4 of these things.
Well, good. You'll be easy to spot. Well, everyone, when they're dressed in their gear, like looks exactly the same pretty much, you know, because so you tend to like call
Yeah.
people like pink hat, you know, because you can't see who anyone is under all their stuff, you know, you start recognizing people by their gear. Okay, so we've done glasses and hats. There's a question about parka suggestions. Many operators, I should say, include parkas. Carolyn, are you sailing with Oceanwide? They do not provide a parka.
Albatross do.
Yeah, Albatross provides a parka. Many, not all operators. So if you don't have a parka with your that comes with your operator, then I would anything waterproof, windproof, and I would do kind of a two-step, like a like kind of something down underneath or nice layer, and then your waterproof jacket over top. So you don't need anything fancy. Just make sure it's fully waterproof. That's it, fully waterproof and not going to rip. That especially with your waterproof pants, I've seen people spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on a trip to Antarctica and buy a pair of pants in a little baggie that rips in a day for, you know, $20 bucks. You don't need to spend a lot of money. They sell really nice stuff at Costco, Sam's, Amazon, but you're probably going to spend, you know, around $40 or so to get a pair that's at least thick enough that you're not going to rip them. All right, we've got shoes as a question and camping.
Can you also talk about waterproof bags to take on the Zodiac for cameras and things like that?
Absolutely.
Please.
Yeah. Remind me if I forget, but I'm going to go with, I'll start with the questions as they're coming in. Camping. Do we need clothing to stay warm, or we won't wear all our clothes when we camp? I was cold when I camped, but I'm cold all the time. The important thing with staying warm is creating like air spaces, you know, with, let's just talk quick socks, because a lot of people make this mistake. If you're wearing 2 socks and everything's tight and your boot is tight and no air can get in there, your feet are going to be cold. So you need little pockets of air to warm up against your body. You don't want it too loose because then that's too much. But same kind of goes for camping. You don't want it to be too like everything too tight, but you definitely are going to want layers. And my suggestion there is to bring like the hand warmers, foot warmers, and like put them in your sleeping bag, put them on your body. And then, you know, hat, neck gaiter, all of that. It'll depend on whether you're bivvying or in a tent. The tents will be a little bit warmer. The bivvy, because your head, you can cinch yourself up, but your head is a little out. Some people, I run, like I said, I run cold, so I was cold, but a lot of people, some people are warm. It's going to be kind of your own personal call. But yeah, I wore a lot of my.
But just remember that if you do go camping and if you get too hot and you start sweating, you will freeze because your sweat gets cold on your body.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be too warm. Exactly. And the camping, they're going to provide you with a really nice sleeping bag and, you know, really good weight for the environment. I just am always cold. I'm cold when I camp, and I do camp in Antarctica. I love it, but I'm cold when I camp and it's like fall here. I'm not a great one to ask about camping. All right, shoes. Okay. Where are my shoes? I brought them because I knew people would be asking. Okay.
So Lori,
Yeah.
I'm one of those carry-on people.
Oh, I love you. Can you teach me
So
a lesson?
I'm hoping I only need 2 pair of shoes, but I don't know if that's practical, including the one I wear on the plane.
It's totally practical.
Okay.
I just wear one pretty much.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. I
I
just
just
wear one.
like to have a pair of slip-ons to just throw on if I'm just, you know.
Yeah. So if you're on a ship that has a mud room, you're going to want to wear a pair of slip-ons. I like these because I can also wear them out on deck if I have to, because they have a nice tread and they're insulated here. These are, who makes these? Vibram? I don't know, but a lot of different companies make these. And they've got some water resistance here, but you can wear Crocs and stuff to the mudroom as well. But I like something to double that if I wanted to wear them, not just to the mudroom, I could. So these are good, but you want a pair just for around the ship and for, you know, Ushuaia and Buenos Aires and whatever. You want a comfy pair of shoes, doesn't have to be anything too spectacular. A nice pair of sneakers these Hokas are more for hiking, so they have a little bit of a nicer tread on them, but a nice pair of sneakers is good. And then these are what I wear. These are just Skechers.
That's what I wanted to ask about. Yeah.
Yeah. These I have to wear. So as a staff member, I have to be in a uniform. So I have certain colors I have to wear. So I really like these shoes because they're in uniform. they're warm. They've got a nice tread on them. And I like the slip-in shoe because I can get in and out really fast if I need to run outside. But, sneakers are also good. If you're a gym type person and you want to go work out, it's, you might want to then bring a pair of sneakers rather than, a pair like this. But generally I just wear the same pair of shoes every day.
Do they need to be waterproof for landings and things?
So for landings, you'll always be wearing your muck boots.
Okay, good.
You'll never go landing in your shoes. The only exception to that is in Stanley in the Falkland Islands. You can wear your own shoes for that if you wish, but everything else you'll do in your muck boots. How much
Please
bigger?
tell us something about bags. Should it be duffel or hard covered suitcases inside the cabin?
Oh, okay. So bags inside the cabin. Good question. Each operator is a little bit different with the beds. And typically, though, there is some space under the beds to store things. I have brought both hard-sided and soft-sided before. And again, depending on the cabin, I'm either able to, usually with the hard-sided, I've had to open it up and slide it under the bed. It doesn't slide under like that. But of course, a duffel you can stuff into places. So a lot of a duffel, you're definitely going to be able to fit somewhere in your cabin versus a hard-sided. It'll just depend on your cabin. And with some operators, and this is not something I don't want you to turn around and say, well, Lori said, because it's not with everyone, but some of them do have a place that they can take your luggage and store it. But most operators want you to store the luggage in your cabins. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. Thank
Yes.
you.
You're welcome. Okay, we're going to keep on the shoe theme, and then we will go down to Sharon's question about the about bags, waterproof bags. So how much bigger should the muck boots from our regular sneaker size? My feet sweat and then get cold. So I would start off by just requesting your normal shoe size. And then you can try it. You'll try it on when you get there, and there'll be a time to swap if you need to swap out. If your feet sweat and then get cold, the muck boots are insulated. I would again go with the wool socks. You don't need to have super thick ones then, because the wool will absorb the sweat and you won't get as cold. You don't want to wear something like cotton or anything like that. Like the wool is better for that. So you're just going to have to kind of, feel it out for yourself. I generally just wear one pair. I have a long boot sock. These are Smart Wool. And if it's really cold, I will wear a thin, these are very thin, also from Smart Wool, liner underneath these socks. But I don't wear these all that much. So usually just a nice pair of boot socks work for me. Do we need sheepskin inserts for the muck boots? You don't need them. Some people do like to bring them for a little extra insulation, or if you're in between sizes, it's a nice thing to be able to put in, and it helps make the shoe a little bit smaller. I have inserts that I bring with me. I had a sheepskin, but I also have just one you can buy at the drugstore. And again, sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. It just depends on how the boots are fitting me, like what sizes are available. It's nice to kind of have that in your back pocket if the size you need isn't quite right or isn't available and you need to go up a size. The inserts will help get you to the right size. And alpaca socks are amazing. They're also breathable. Yeah, alpaca's great as well. All right, bags, waterproof bags. Now, I carry a super heavy duty waterproof backpack.
Lori,
Guide.
before you go on to backpacks, how many pairs of socks do you generally bring? Is it just like 4 or 5, or do you bring a lot?
Good question. I bring 2 pairs of the boot socks, and then I bring a couple pairs for around the ship. The around the ship is warm, so I bring some thinner pairs because my feet will get hot on the ship, especially in thick. I won't wear these around the ship. They're too thick. And especially because my shoes are insulated as well. So my feet are warm. If I was just wearing my sneakers, they probably would be just fine. I find that most of the stuff that I wear outside isn't getting super dirty. And my feet don't really sweat and smell up my socks so much in Antarctica. So I don't have to worry about that. So I kind of rotate between 2 pairs and then
Thank you, Lori.
okay, bags. So I have a nice heavy duty waterproof backpack, but I carry a lot of stuff in it, and cameras and first aid equipment and a lot of things like that. So for dry bags, I would recommend, if you're going to get a dry bag, something backpacky or something that you can sling over your shoulder is really nice. I have this like very thin one. This is Outdoor Research, very lightweight and thin. If which you can crumple up if you need, but this is really big. Like, you don't necessarily need something like that. A lot of people find that if they don't have a lot of stuff to carry, if they don't have a big camera, you can kind of stuff it under your parka or bring a small dry bag that you can put in a pocket or something like that. And a little trick, I could only find a big bag in my house today, but a little trick for your camera, if you just have your camera, is you take a Ziploc bag. Now, this is like a huge one. So, but you can just snip very small holes, very, very small holes in the corners. And then you run your camera strap up through those so that your camera is hanging inside. Yeah. Oh, inside the bag. And so you can wear this over your neck. And then when you need your camera, you just kind of pull it up. And then when you don't, you pull it back down and you can zip it up. Now, the reason for doing it like that versus shoving it in and out is it's attached to you. We don't want you to have any plastic like this that isn't secured in some way, because it can easily fly away. And also it can hang your neck and the water runs down and you can just literally expose the lens if you need to take a picture and then back down. So you're not getting in and out condensation and wetness. Like I said, this is huge. You don't need this, like a gallon.
I needed that in the Amazon earlier this year when my camera got soaking wet.
Oh no.
I should have had that. Yes, a brand new camera.
Oh, I thought you said you tried this, or no?
No, I should have tried that. I should have had that.
Yeah, so you
Good idea.
definitely want I have a more sophisticated system for my camera, but mine's also weatherproof. But honestly, this works really, really well. You just need to make sure your expedition team knows that it is secured on your strap. They might ask you questions about it because we really don't want people having plastic bags around, and you have to take your strap off the camera to do it. It's a little bit of a process. Yeah, but any small little dry bag will do. If you have a strap on it, that's also great. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, and a lot of ships will sell dry bag backpacks. And I'm going to show you one other little bag. Now, this isn't the one I would recommend necessarily because it's not it's to use your phone through, not to get your phone in and out. So this is more for like playing music. But this brand is called Yugo, UGO, and they have a pouch for your phone that'll hold your phone and you can take pictures through it. And what I really like about them is instead of rolling up, most of the dry bags for phones or things, you roll the top. These are made with a dry bag. The same zippers that dry suits are made from. And so this has a strap. that you can wear around your waist or whatever. So this is just a zipper, and they have, you just have to make sure you cinch it down, and they have a really cool one for your phone. And I like this one for me, again, a different use. If I'm using it for navigation, I have this, and then I can, because this one's a bag, I can put my GPS and some other things in here and have this very close to my body. But for you, I would recommend a different product that they have that's just for the phone. But if you just have your phone, dry bag for that is a see-through one that you can use through, or that you can get in and out easily. I don't love taking pictures through my phone, through a dry bag of my phone. So, but I also don't love the roll thing, and then it sort of sticks together. And but this zipper is the best I've ever found, and I don't know any other company that has a dry suit zipper that actually really keeps things dry. And these
Yeah.
also float. Their stuff also floats. So I met the founders of this company, and I was just amazed at what they've created. I'd never seen anything like it. So I'm actually going to test this out this year for them. But they had a whole, they had a messenger bag with this zipper, and they were, threw it in the Chesapeake Bay, and it's fine, because these zippers are what we use in dry suits, which it's genius. I don't know why people haven't done this before. So Ugo, yeah, UGO is the name. And when you go on their site, you'll see they'll have bags like this, but the one I think is good for the cruise is the one for your phone. But honestly, for traveling, they have this, and they have another one that's got places for your credit card, and you can swim with this, and so just general traveling, these are really good. You can use it as a little purse, and you don't have to put it on, you don't have to like leave it on the beach or leave it anywhere. You can do all your activities with it and keep all your, credit card and all your stuff in there too. All right. I found a pair of gloves that I forgot to show you that I really liked. You can easily find these. They're fingerless here, but they have these little mittens that go over. These are really nice if you have a pair of these, or you can find a pair, because you can be really warm, and then you can flip them off to use your camera and then flip them back on. I do use these occasionally. I'm always looking for the perfect glove. Okay. Other questions? Yes.
If I really only want to take one pair of sunglasses, because I don't check a bag, but if for some reason they got lost, could you buy a pair on the boat? I'm going to be on Aurora.
I don't know what they sell in their shop.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I don't know. It's a good question maybe to ask Lauren. She's worked for Aurora, but I'm trying to think if I even know the answer for the operator I work for. So I'm not sure. And then you never know if they're sold out or not.
Yeah, I know.
I have to say, I do bring two, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at hanging on to my sunglasses. Knock on wood, I've never lost a pair. So you feel pretty confident that you can hang on to them.
Really?
I do bring, multiple pairs of my real glasses, but as well, I always have two of everything. Just, I'm also there for 2.5 months. So more can happen. Kayaking where? Yeah, go ahead.
Who are you working for? Which operator?
This season I'll be working with Polar Latitudes. Kayaking, your operator will provide you with dry suits for kayaking. You just wear your normal clothes underneath, and they'll give you all the things that you need, and if you want to, with your own gloves, I think you wear your own gloves, but some give you gloves, but some people like to wear their own gloves. But they'll outfit you up with what you need. Phone tether needed. Yeah, a phone tether is a really good idea. Really, 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 really good idea. So phone tether, or in a dry bag, some way to attach it to yourself. I can post some pictures of different phone tethers that are out there, but yeah, most people use their phones constantly, and you really do want it attached. It's very easy to drop. And it's also easier to access when it's on a tether rather than like in your pockets or things like that. There you go. There's a good one. Yeah. What brand is that?
This is a koala, like a koala bear. Koala.
Yes.
I've seen those, yeah.
I've seen those online. Does it work as well as they say?
Yes, I've taken this. I usually hike the Camino de Santiago, and I drop my phone a lot hiking. So this is fabulous.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of different kinds out there, and some work well and some don't. I have seen that one advertised, and I hadn't met anyone who had it yet, so it's good to hear a nice endorsement for it. Excellent. Do phone batteries drain fast? Yes, they do, especially if you have an older phone. The newer phones are going to be better. I recommend bringing a power bank. This one that I have has attachments for different brands and different
So is mine.
which is nice for me to have because, again, I hand these out to people who phone battery is dying.
Yeah, mine's got them like that.
Nice. Yeah, funny enough,
So
the one
look.
I have, I can't recommend because I just got a recall for it that it can catch on fire. So I need to buy myself another one.
This one is Charmast, Charmast. I swear by them. They are really, really good.
Okay, good.
With all
Thank
the
you. Looking
labels
for a new
attached.
brand myself.
Yeah.
You
They're
know,
on Amazon.
never good when you get a little email that says, you know, don't use this anymore, but I still have it. But yes, battery bank is good. Also with your cameras, a second battery. Always have a second.
5, 6, 7.
A couple things you might not think about that I pulled out. A portable shopping bag. Down, at least in Argentina, they don't give you bags. They expect you to bring your own. This one here folds up. So it's really easy, but it's also, you know, any kind of portable shopping bag is a good thing to have. Also, for any souvenirs or buying anything on the ship, it's nice to have your own bag. But like I said, in Argentina, they expect you to have your own bag. I kind of buy reusable bags in different places as souvenirs. Some people collect. It's something I collect. So I do have a few from their grocery store and stuff like that. But I always have one of these when I'm traveling. And two other things, again, that you may not think to bring. One is a USB stick. Bring a blank one so that you can get photos or things from people. It's way we share stuff on the ship. And if you don't have one and someone says, well, I'll email you that picture later, and it never happens, just have one. You might not use it, but it's a good thing to have one with you. And it's actually nice to have with all the new attachments, you know, USB, maybe a USB-C, but.
What size do you recommend?
What size?
What size?
I don't know. These days they're all so cheap. Just get a big one. I mean, you don't need like a huge one, but I think the smallest ones I have now are like 16 gigs or 8 gigs or something. I think the ones I bring are 16 or 32, but I keep my lectures on them as well. So you won't need a huge one. Just bring it erased and formatted and ready to go. Like, so that doesn't have other stuff on it. The other thing, and this is my older one, I have a newer one as well for the USB-C connections, but this is a funny looking thing. But what is it? It is goes into your iPhone. It's also a USB, and it's got special software on it, and it backs up. You can pull photos off your iPhone and store them on here and then put them into your computer or vice versa. Now, this is like a little I use this as a little backup device for my phone, because when you are on the ship, you are not backing up to the cloud. So you need to make sure you have enough space on your phone. And we can do another Zoom about kind of prepping your phone if you want to, but this is a good way to back up your photos and or take photos off your phone if you need to. This one's made by SanDisk, Sandisk, but there are other brands that make them. And Androids, I don't have an Android, but I think I think that you have an SD card or something.
Can do it for Android, yeah.
You can take it in and out. I don't know how to back those up, but I love this for the phone. You can set the software every time you plug it in just to kind of update and back it up manually, or you can, automatically, or you can do it manually. So again, the brand is SanDisk for this one. I have a newer one. This is the old one. I have a newer one that looks more like a USB stick, but it's got a lightning on one side and the USB on the other. It's not quite this weird little, like, so those are two things I think you should have with you: a way to back up your phone and a way to get goodies from other.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So the reason you say we can't back up to the cloud is because there's like zero or very little access to Wi-Fi?
No. So the reason I say that is now some ships are getting Starlink, so Wi-Fi is better and faster, but Wi-Fi is generally pretty slow. It's very expensive, and some ships block that. There's things that ships will block because they take up so much bandwidth. And at least every ship I've worked on has blocked like iCloud backup, because it would just take everything. It's like Netflix. Some of them block that. Like, they're not a lot of people. Now with Starlink, they might, but don't count on it. Go in thinking you won't be able to back up to the cloud.
Okay, because I think the ship I'm on just announced in October they got Starlink.
Yeah, and Starlink's going to be faster, but I don't know if with Starlink they're going to open up the traffic to let people do whatever they want. They
Got
might. I don't know. This is the first season we're having Starlink, so it'll be interesting. The ship I'm on has it. It'll be interesting to see if I can back up to the cloud, but I'm not going to want to pay for that, to be quite honest. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a lot of money to back up your photos, and it slows everything down, and it uses battery.
Yeah, great
Unless
idea.
your ship's giving it to you for free, but it still uses battery.
Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right, going back to jacket. G will give us a parka. What kind of jacket do we need for cruise or on ship? Waterproof, anything else? Your parka. I would wear your parka when you go outside. I also bring, I have this little Patagonia down jacket with a hood that sometimes I can grab instead of my parka, but this isn't waterproof. It can be like a little water resistant, but you'll just wear your parka.
Thanks, Laura.
Yeah, I mean, on the ship, you're going to find it's pretty warm on the ship. You'll want to be in layers. Bring some short sleeve shirts. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but some people get really warm on the ship. My uniform, just to put it this way, my uniform is a short sleeve polo. I sometimes wear a long sleeve underneath it, but most of the time I don't need it. But you'll want to be able to grab like a fleece or a jacket, or, with your parka when you head outside. Do some include a puffy jacket with a parka on Quark? Some companies have an inner jacket and an outer jacket. So some have kind of the waterproof, and then they have an inner jacket. I'm not 100% sure what Quark supplies. I would ask your travel agent or your operator directly if you booked with them. I think Quark's is a 2-layer. I'm not sure. Let me see, what else did I bring that I can.
I
Go
did Quark to Greenland several, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, and it's a 2-layer jacket, and I still wear it all the time.
It's
I love
probably
it.
the same then. Yeah, I thought,
Yeah.
I was like, I think it might be 2-layer, but
That's great.
yeah, it's hard to keep track. This is why we have Lauren and Heather and Kit and John. They are the travel agent side. We've all worked for a number of companies, but like, they know the answers to a lot of these questions since they help people book their trips. They've been asked these questions a number of times. And I only know if I've worked on the ship. And I have not worked for Quark before. So I have a lot of friends that work for Quark, but I have not worked for them. All right, we are coming up on an hour. So let me see if there's any last questions.
Lori, I did have one last question. For the staying warm, you said create air pockets. Does that mean things should be somewhat baggy or just not really tight?
I would go with just not really tight.
Perfect.
You don't want them baggy, but you don't want them like you can't move. Too much air is too cold. So
Perfect.
yeah, that's why like having like a lot of my wool stuff is a little stretchy. So even if I'm layering two on top of each other, there's still, you know, a little give in there. It's not like sucking me totally in. Where I find it's a problem is with socks. To be honest, people layer up the socks and then their boots are so tight and they're like, my feet are freezing and I have 2 pairs of socks on. I'm like, your feet are freezing because it's so tight in there. There's no air. That's usually more of the problem than it is. I'm going to show you guys one more thing before we go, because this is my absolute favorite piece of gear that I have, and the jacket, and it's by, again, the sailing company Gill, but other companies have started making these now, and basically it's called a hybrid jacket.
Really?
Oh, Jen, can you mute yourself? Oops. Let's see if I can. Oh, there she goes. And what it is it's down in the core, and then it's stretchy, fleece lined on the sleeves. So it provides warmth, but not a lot of bulk. So I wear this under my parka most days. If it's really cold, I will wear my full down under my parka. My parka is not insulated from polar latitudes. It's a really great waterproof jacket. It was designed specifically for the polar regions, and I absolutely love it. But it's like wind and waterproof, but it has no insulation. So I like this because it gives me a lot of range of motion, but it keeps my core super warm. And the sleeves are pretty warm themselves as well. So I don't really go out without this on, because I find I have to be moving a lot and I don't want to be, you know, too bulky. The brand again is Gill, Gill. In the UK, they pronounce it Gill. But I don't know if they make the down one anymore, but they make a synthetic one still, a synthetic down. But it's a lot of places, if you search for them, call it a hybrid jacket. And I actually got one for my partner last year for the holidays, and he's like, it's the coat he grabs all the time because it feels like it's like a lightweight coat, but it's really warm in the core. So I wanted to make sure to share that with you guys. Now, this is only if you're really buying stuff. Most of this, you don't need to buy anything. I would just want to leave you with that. Most of the stuff you'll have in your closet, unless of course you're from a really warm climate and you can layer things up. I'm a total like dork when it comes to gear. I'm always looking for, you know, something that's lightweight but warm, and people are always asking me about gear, so I love testing out new gear. But you don't have to spend tons and tons of money. Like, I love this jacket, but I didn't wear it. I just got it a couple years ago, so it's not like I've been wearing something like this all along. So you don't have to spend tons of money on gear. There are a few things you for sure want to bring with you, but if you have any more questions, of course, just ask in the group or message me or anything like that.
Thanks, Laurie. It's very helpful.
Thank you, Laurie, for your beautiful presentation. It was very helpful.
Thank
It
you.
was.
And if you're
Thank you once again.
watching, thank you. If you're watching and you aren't booked yet and you want help from one of our team members, when I send out the recording, I will give the link to our survey, so that if you are watching and you want help, it's travel.theantarcticexperience/survey, and that'll get you in touch with one of the members of the team who will help you out. But for all of you who are going to Antarctica this year, I'm super excited for you all. And yeah, keep asking questions. And again, if you are working with a travel agent or someone from our team, those are great people to ask the questions of. They are your point person. So feel free to ask them as many questions, and they'll have different opinions than I will, and they often have a lot more information than I do on different operators. All right, thank
Thanks
you
very
guys
much.
again.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Lori. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.